extra time here with the Manitoba Soccer Association. Chris Lourenco, technical lead, Manitoba Soccer Association. I got that right?
That's right, yeah.
Awesome. So a little bit chilly outside. It's nice in here. Gorgeous facility here. Changeover of the name happened earlier this year, I believe.
Yeah.
So we've got some wonderful programming going on here, especially early mornings if you're an early riser.
Yeah.
Started in October?
Yes, program started in October.
What's the name of the program? How long does it run? Give me a bit of details.
Okay. The program on the boys' side is called the Residency Prospects, which is linked in through the Vancouver Whitecaps. It's been running, we run from October to April. Every morning, boys train Monday to Thursday from 6:45 until about 8:15, depending on how the boys are doing on the day.
So it's early morning.
Yeah.
You got to be an early riser.
Yeah.
Who's involved? Which players are involved in the program?
Okay, so we run there's a kind of a pre-group or like a part-time group that is the under 13s. And then we go under 14, 15, 16, and then the odd under 17, depending on kind of their own progression.
Okay. And are there games involved? Is it mostly individual skill practice? What's the rundown? Does it change every day?
Yeah, so the focus is individual based, so we're really just trying to develop the individual. A lot of people mistake the group as a team. We don't kind of view the group as a team. It's just we're training individuals to push them on to that next level, whatever that next level is for the player individually. So training is set up. It's a team game, so we have to have some team concepts, but training would involve the individual and just making sure that their own development, their own habits as a player are kind of developed throughout. We play games once a week as well. The boys play on Friday nights. We start at 8:45 until 10:15 every Friday.
So a 90-minute game still?
Yeah, so because it's a 90-minute slot, we run maybe an 80-minute game, shorten a little bit, but we try and get as much game time for them as we can in those 90 minutes. So
now you're in charge of the male program, correct, Chris?
Yeah.
So what part of the game have you seen that needs to be progressed more here in Manitoba, specifically to help with individual talent to get them to that next level, like you said, whatever it may be?
That's a great question. I think the level here, obviously, it being a smaller province, it is obviously a little bit different than the kind of bigger provinces where they have a little bit more competition, a little bit more, not just competition on the field, but competition for places amongst players as well. So I think some of the biggest things here that we try and focus on are just refining some of the player habits that they've acquired up until the point that they get into the program. So getting those to kind of the next level, whatever that looks like for them. And then something that we call football speed or speed of play, and just it's how quickly they can make decisions on the field. So that's kind of usually the biggest step for the next level, and that goes from every level. So even here within the province, every time you kind of jump up to another level, the speed of play increases, and then so forth as you get on to a national level or professional level as well.
I think that involves every sport. It's basically what you call instinct, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to have that know-withal to be one step ahead of the competition, right? Try to just guess where that open space is, move to where the ball should go, kind of thing. Now, because you don't practice as a team during the week, but then you play games, is it a split squad that goes on Friday nights?
Not all the time. We've done some kind of inter-squad matches, and we'll look to do those. The boys group, we have about 30 players, so we can easily set up an inter-squad match, and we try and do those about once a month. Otherwise, we'll reach out to local clubs and see if they're available to play on the Friday night, and we'll set up games kind of ahead of time. And then for us, it's just about finding the right competition. So something that's challenging for the players, but also something where they're not, they're playing grown men where they're just going to get run over. So finding that balance between different age groups, different levels on who we're going to play. And then because my group is 30 players, and we range from, like I said, the 16, 17-year-old age down to 13, sometimes I'll only take the bottom age group of players, so the 13s and 14s, and find competition specifically for them. And then the older ages will find competition for them.
Adequate. That's fantastic. So you're not blowing kids out with a bunch of senior men that are trying to roll a 10-1 game on them.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, this facility is quite large. This is like a regular soccer pitch size. Not comparing it to the indoor soccer game that a lot of players will play in the off season. This allows this facility to be more of a 12-month or used, when it's minus 21 outside, like today. So how does it help to be able to play a game or even work on your fitness 12 months of the year with soccer being in the background?
Well, obviously having this facility and the facility in the north that we use for our games, obviously being able to use this space versus, let's say, a gym or kind of a smaller hockey rink style, it obviously helps with the bigger scope of the game. Like I said, we develop the individual, but within the team concepts, there are things that they need to understand in the spacing. We are a bit limited in terms of timing. The girls train next to us every morning, so we take half a field, they take half a field. But we get 1 day a week where we have the full field to ourselves, so we can work on a lot bigger concepts and different things when we have a full field versus half.
Extra time with Chris Lourenco. Couple last questions for you here, Chris. Where do you see this program developing the player? I mean, developing the player obviously, but the program itself growing a little bit here in Manitoba. I mean, let's talk about that first.
Okay, so our goal for the program ultimately is, like I said, to move players on to that next level, whatever that is for them. So either a professional environment, a college environment, university, it could be semi-professional. Our goal, in my opinion, is to help them achieve those goals, whatever that looks like. So goals for the program going forward is to try and get as many players as we can onto that next level. So I think a bare minimum for us as a program is, and what we call a byproduct of the program, is university scholarships for as many as we can get. We're always going to reach for the top and reach for national teams and pro levels, but that's obviously very difficult in any sport, and very small percentage of players do that. So, like I said, the byproduct is universities, and that's kind of a bare minimum standard for us. So, growing the program in that kind of direction and just setting the standard for the program itself to make sure that it's as high quality as it can be, regardless of coaches that are in or players that are in. It's just the standard is always going to be as high as possible.
Where do you see these role models? Like, we have the Valor program that started this year, its inaugural season. Not the greatest on the pitch, but definitely community relations top notch with the Valor program. We're seeing Canadians all over the world starting to sign pretty good contracts and pretty good transfers. What does that do for young players and having to see these Canadians as being potential role models in the sport?
Yeah, I mean, I think when I was growing up, a lot of the role models that I might have had are still obviously soccer players, but I had a different kind of connection with them because there was nothing local. Now I feel the kids are pretty fortunate in that before we had the Canadian Premier League, there's the 3 MLS teams. So Canadian football there, and now with the Canadian Premier League, even more and even closer to home, obviously with Valor being here. So that, I think that kind of exposure for Canadians in the game not only helps the kids here, but it'll help those that are going on to the next level too. I mean, we see someone like Alphonso Davies, who's now at one of the biggest clubs in the world. I think that those are all products of the game continuing to grow in Canada, and the more opportunities that we have for the players in our program, I think the better off it's going to be, not only for them, but for Canadian football as a whole.
So we're getting into the new year next month, 2020. What programming on top of the morning sessions do we have starting setting up in the rest of the winter time?
So we'll just continue training every morning throughout the winter. We're looking at setting up some university kind of showcases with other provinces who also run similar programs as us. Our intake group for the next year will be we currently have 2006s as part-times, but our intake now will be 2006s to go full-time and then 2007s to go part-time. So we have a little combine that we go to Vancouver for in March that we're looking to invite players in to see how they kind of fit in this environment. So that's one of our bigger projects going in for the new year. But other than that, now we're working all year with every player, but focusing a little bit more on the older players to see what their plans are going forward. So any universities in mind, how can we support that? Any pro aspirations in mind, how can we support that? And really just trying to, again, push those players on to the next level.
That's fantastic news, Chris. Thanks very much for joining me this morning.
Thank you.
Have a great holiday. Merry Christmas to you.
Thanks,
and the rest of the group here. And really great to see this young program starting here. We'll talk next month about the grassroots as well. So
excellent.
Thank you very much for joining us here. Extra time with Chris Lourenco, the technical lead on the guys' side. Right on. Thank you.